pronunciation training. I'm starting this one just a little bit early. I can see there was a few people waiting to join right away. So welcome back to another live English pronunciation training, where in this tutorial, what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you two sounds, the oo and the sounds in English. I'm going to explain the difference between both sounds. And then once I've made sure that you're confident with both of these sounds, then what I'm going to do is start to do a bit of live Q&A, answer any questions that you've got for me, and just give you as much value as I can in the time that we've got together today, okay? So if you see me looking into two different cameras, it's because I'm streaming this both live on YouTube and Facebook today. So I can see we've got lots of people joining on both platforms already, which is fantastic. So thanks everyone who's joining. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from today. And I look forward to seeing. And Samita, hi, great to have you here. Teresa, I will answer your question, Teresa, in just a moment. That's a really good word. Yeah, let me know where you're watching from. Any questions, put them in the comments. And then I'm going to do my best to answer as many questions as I can today. I've got a nice glass of water ready to look after my voice. So let's do it. Hey, Sijala, great to have you back. You're in Pakistan, fantastic. How's the situation in Pakistan at the moment? Are you in lockdown or are you not in lockdown? Currently in London, we're still in lockdown, and I think most people who are watching this are in nice warm countries at the moment. In London, it's super cold. The snow has stopped, but it's still pretty chilly outside, okay? So, Samita, great to have you here. Alex, welcome back. Good to have you. Albimar, thank you for joining again as well. So let me dive into the live training. I'm going to start by explaining the difference between the two oo vowel sounds. One is short and one is long, okay? Alberto, great to have you here. And Janitin as well, welcome back. Good to see you again. So let's start with the two sounds. Oo, as in, I'm just going to think of a couple of good words to describe this. You've got food and foot, for example, okay? Food, which is the long English vowel sound, and foot, which is a short English vowel sound, all right? So you might be able to hear the difference between both of those sounds very clearly, or you might not. I want to make sure that you can, especially because this week in all of my live training, I've been focusing really on the long vowel sounds in English, okay? So let's be clear about the oo vowel sound, which you might find harder to make in English, and then we will get on to the short vowel sound, okay? So, oo, what do we need to know? First of all, it's a long English vowel sound, and as I'm sure most of you will know by now, when I'm teaching the long English vowel sounds, I teach them with a technique called the 2-second rule. And the reason why I teach sounds with the 2-second rule is because if you don't normally have long English vowel sounds in your language, then when it comes to long English vowel sounds, you might make them too short. And that can then end up often confusing similar sounds that are long and short in English. So let's just start by getting clear on the length of oo, okay? If you can, I want you to follow along with me and practice this sound out loud with me now, okay? We're going to say the long oo vowel sound, and we're going to hold it for 2 seconds, okay? One thing that you need to know is when I'm making the oo vowel sound, my lips are tightly rounded. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And if I turn forward or to the side, what you should see is that my lips come forward. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, so if you can, follow along with me now and just make this a couple of times and then we'll put it into some words, okay? I'm going to hold it for 2 seconds. So if you can, hold it for 2 seconds as well, okay? Ooh, 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 ooh. Obviously, in normal English speaking, you're not going to hold it for as long as this, but the purpose of this exercise is just simply to get comfortable feeling this sound as a long English vowel sound, okay? I'm now going to just go between the two sounds, oo and I want you to follow along with me and pay close attention to two things. One, for oo, my lips are slightly more tightly rounded, oo, than ooh, ooh, ooh. And then obviously for oo, it's a long vowel sound, oo, and for it's a short vowel sound, okay? Let me turn to the side, and if you can, follow along with me again. I really recommend following along with me because that's going to enable you to get the most from these exercises that we're doing here, okay? So, ooh, 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 Now, one thing to be aware of is you might be able to hear that is slightly lower in the mouth, okay? And the pitch of the sound is also slightly lower. Ooh, 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 okay? Can you hear the difference there? The difference will get harder to hear when you add sounds onto the end of these words. For example, if I add a D sound onto the end of the word, and I've looked at this in the other live trainings that I've done this week, when you add a voiced consonant onto the end of a long vowel sound, it doesn't change the length of it. So if I say oo, or foo, or food, the length of the long vowel sound is the same. Ooh, food, food, food. However, if I change that and put a T sound in there and say foot, wait, that's a bad example actually. Oot. If I say change the first sound to an L, so we have a proper word in English, and say loot, 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 you should be able to hear the oo gets compressed and it becomes shorter. Loot, food, loot, food, loot, food, loot, food. Okay, is that clear? The vowel sounds always get shortened if there is a voiceless consonant after them, okay? And that's one reason why and oo could be slightly difficult to hear the difference between if you're not familiar with this effect, okay? I've just seen in the comments it's Giovanni's birthday today, so Giovanni, a big happy birthday to you. I hope you're having a really special day, and I hope that you can learn some really exciting things on this training as a mini birthday present from me. Okay, Giovanni, happy birthday. All right. So let me just summarize the differences between these two sounds again. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a couple more examples. And then I'm going to open the training up for some live Q&A. Okay. So a couple more examples. If I take the word, someone gave me the comment earlier, juice. Okay. Juice is a really good example of where you get a y sound in front of the actual oo. So if I say juice and I drop the j sound, what I get is use, use, use. For example, what is the use of this pen? Use, use, use. I recommend getting comfortable being able to say the y sound in front of vowel sounds because it often happens in English, and it can be the y sound, it can be a really challenging sound to get right in certain situations in English, okay? So if I say, again, use, what's the use of this pen? Use, use, use. If I now add on the j sound to that and keep the y sound there, I get juice, juice, juice. Okay? Is everyone making sense of this? And is everyone finding this nice and clear and easy to understand? Juice, juice, juice. If you have any questions, let me know. Another example would be the word muse, muse, which is not a very common word in English, but it's a useful word to test your ability to pronounce these sounds clearly together, because muse, muse, you've really got to push that U through to get all the sounds here. Okay, so I'd like everyone now to follow along if you can and say with me, muse, muse, muse. Okay, muse, muse, muse. There's a few different words that actually have this pronunciation in English. Okay, the first one is if I'm musing on something, it means that I'm contemplating something. If I'm musing about the bad English weather, then I'm contemplating and thinking about the bad English weather. Okay. Another example would be muse. In England, what you used to get historically was behind streets of big posh Georgian houses, you'd get these little old cobbly streets where people that lived in the big old houses would then put their horses. So of course we're going back quite a long time now. KK spelt it perfectly there, muse. In the olden day, people would store their horses in their muses. Okay. These days, most muses have been turned into flats now because they're nice areas to live. But that's an example. And the final example is, if any of you like rock music, there's a famous band called Muse. And again, this is the pronunciation of their name. Muse. Muse, with that y. So there's kind of two things to be aware of here. One is the my consonant combination, my, 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 and then the oo with a Z sound on the end. Ooze, ooze, ooze. Okay? I'm just going to go through, quite a few comments have come in, so I just want to go through and actually see any comments, to see if there's any questions. So thanks everyone who's joining, by the way. I can see there's lots of people here. So Yanel says, is look, cook words begin with short sound? Yeah, so correct. Yanel has asked about the two words look and cook, and also then book, and they're the main ones I can think of. These all have the short English vowel sound, which is like clicking your fingers. Book, book, okay, book, look, shook, all right. The past of shake something is shook, I think so. I might be wrong there. I'll have to double check that afterwards, okay. But is that clear? Compared to ooh, ooh. Some other words that have this y in before the u spelling would be news. Someone commented news, which is absolutely true. News, news. What you want to avoid is saying news, where you don't make that y sound, okay? What time is the news? Doesn't really sound quite right. What we want to do is add that y sound in there and say, what time is the news? News, news. And look sideways again. Look how my jaw comes forward for the oo. News, 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 news. I'm going to give you a really difficult example now. Just one second. Excuse me. Shariful has commented from Bangladesh. Great to have you here, Shariful. By the way, I know that I'm not responding to as many of the comments today, especially on Facebook. That's because I'm broadcasting this on YouTube and Facebook. So I've got two screens in front of me and I'm trying to answer as many of the comments as I can. But I also want to keep the flow of the lesson going. Okay? So here's a pronunciation test for you. Okay? Who can say the word huge, huge, huge? And when you say this, I'm going to just make you aware of something very important. And in my group coaching program, I did a live training on this last Friday. And what we were looking at is how the H sound doesn't have any noise before you actually get to the vowel sound that comes as you make the H sound. And what's very common in English is to make noise when you're making the H sound. So for example, an easy example would be the word have. It's very common for people to say have, or have, where there's a friction noise in the throat or the back of the mouth before you make the H sound. Okay, that is normally one of the. I've just lost my train of thought. The H sound are before the word a or the sound a. For example, have. This is the easiest example to say the H sound in. Have, because your mouth is nice and open. So it's fairly easy or easier to avoid making noise. So the correct is have, and the incorrect would be have. Okay? Or at least that would be a non-British pronunciation of the H sound. Okay? But now if we go back to huge, because when you make the y sound, the back of the tongue is very high up at the back of the mouth, what happens is it's harder to make the H sound without having noise beforehand. So even if you can say have nice and clearly, you might find that when you're saying huge, that there's friction noise. So you might get something like huge, huge, or huge, huge, something like that. So what I want you to do now is say out loud, huge, huge, huge. And apart from you breathing out, I don't want there to be any noise before you actually turn the voicing on to make the H sound. Okay? If you're not sure how to make the H sound, then I created a tutorial and posted it on YouTube last week, I think it was early last week, on the 5 most difficult consonant sounds in English. If you haven't seen that, I highly recommend it because I show you how to make this sound and the other most difficult consonant sounds in English and how to avoid the mistakes. Janine says that was last week. Excellent, Janine, thank you very much. I'm guessing you must have seen it then. Well done for you for watching it. I really hope that it's helped you a lot, Janine. Okay, so let me just see. So we've to open quite well our throat. Yeah. The best way to make the H sound is to try to open up your throat as much as possible. And there's a really weird exercise that you can do to help with this. Okay, if you put your tongue out your mouth like this, and stick your tongue out as far as you can out your mouth, like this, and then try saying the H sound, you should then find that the airflow coming out your mouth is quiet, like this. You can probably hear the H sound, but what you probably can't hear is anything like this. All right. So if I go back to the word huge, which is really difficult, huge, huge, huge. I hope there that here that there's not really any noise coming out my throat until I actually make the H sound. Okay? Haida says I'm amazing. Thank you so much, Haida. Welcome back to another live training. Haida, you've been really, really consistently joining me on all of them, so thank you. and so has Yanel, Amna, Sarah, Jaja, and many other people too who I can't see your name right now. But thanks everyone for being back here for another English pronunciation training. So, yeah, I'm going to move on to some Q&A now so I can answer some of your individual questions. But what I would recommend, if you really want to test your English pronunciation, is to practice saying huge, huge, without any noise in your throat. Huge, huge. If you can do that, then you have mastered the H sound and you will have made me a very, very proud English pronunciation coach, okay? Because it's not easy at all. And when I have been working with my students who have done this, I'm always really, really proud of them because it's not an easy thing to master in English pronunciation, okay? So, huge, huge, okay? So let me just see some comments that are coming in here. So Haida says, let me see. Oh. Haida says, can you ask me? Haida, what would you like to ask me? Ask me and I'll do my best to answer it now, okay? And someone has said here. So Teresa has said, see you tomorrow. I take your first module. Thank you so much to teach how to pronounce. Teresa, you're absolutely welcome. It's great to have you here. And as you know, on Facebook at the moment, every day for the next 30 days, I'm posting tutorials in a British accent challenge to help you speak English clearly and confidently with a British accent, if that's what you want to do, okay? All the tutorials that I'm posting on the Facebook page are tutorials that are already on my YouTube channel. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you're not missing out at all. I'm just posting tutorials that are already on YouTube to Facebook, okay? And if you want all of the tutorials on Facebook that I'm posting over the next 30 days, just go to YouTube. English School Online is the name of the channel, and there's everything here that you need to really get great pronunciation results, okay? So I'm just going to see any more questions that were coming in, and then I'm going to open the floor up for some individual questions. So Alex says, is the word would pronounced with a silent H? Yes, so Alex, there's no H in that word at all, not even spelt. So would, there is no H sound, okay? Alex has asked a good question. Would, is there an H sound in there? No. Let me ask you a question on the theme of today's pronunciation training. Is the vowel sound in the word would, is it long or short? Long or short? Okay, let me hear and let me see what you're saying. Okay, long or short? Now Alberto has kindly commented that my writing is upside down or back to front here. The reason being, I wrote this for Facebook because Facebook takes what it sees and then flips it around, right? So I've actually had to write this backwards so that it looks like the right way around on Facebook. But that's why now this looks backwards on YouTube because it is, okay? So a couple more comments came in and one was a really good one. Okay, so Jose asked about look versus Luke. I'll answer that in just a sec. But the answer to whether would is a long oo or a short oo was correctly given to me as a short would. That's compared to who, for example, who would you like to speak to? Who, where it's a long one, okay? Who said that? Who, okay? Again, with the word who, make sure you're not having friction in your throat. Who, okay? It's not that, who, it's who, all right? Next, so Jose asked for the difference between look and Luke. And this is a really good example, Jose, because here we have two words that are identical apart from the long and the short oo vowel sounds. So Luke, which is a name in English, Luke, is a long oo vowel sound. Luke, Luke, Luke. Look is a short English vowel sound. Look, look, look. So if I compare them or put them into a sentence, let's say this. Look at Luke. Look at Luke. Look at Luke. Can you hear the difference in length there? Look at Luke. Look at Luke. Look at Luke. Is that obvious? I hope that's obvious. If you can, practice that now. Just say it out loud once, because that would be a really useful one to practice. Okay, Jose says it is obvious. Fantastic. Someone has commented for the pronunciation of the word tune, which is a really good question. So again, this has that y sound in. Tune, tune, tune. However, there's two ways you can think about this word. You can either think about the word tune as a ch sound, as in cheese, plus a long oo, tune, 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 or you can think of it as a ch plus a u, tune, tune, tune. The reality is that it won't really sound much different because of how those two sounds come together, the ch and the oo. Whether you intentionally add a y sound in there or not, it won't really make much of a difference to the overall pronunciation. Okay, so whether you say ch plus yoon or just simply ch plus oon, it's going to sound the same. Just have a go at trying to say both of them out loud now, and you'll hear exactly what I mean. Tune, 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 tune. Okay, one more time. Tune and tune. All right. Now, Giovanni has given a good point here. And Giovanni said, and this is really, really useful, okay, for the H sound. Giovanni said an old teacher of his said to pretend that he was cleaning his glasses with breath on them to make the H sound. That is a perfect analogy. Okay, let me demonstrate exactly what has been demonstrated to Giovanni, okay, or recommended. This is a glass, and if I try to breathe condensation onto the glass, it would look like this. Okay, and then there's a bit of condensation on there. Again. That is how you want to make the H sound. You want it to be so soft that it's just simply like breathing out. And then whichever vowel sound comes next is there then when you actually start the voicing. So if I'm going to say have, it would be like this. Have, have, have. Where all that's happening is I'm making the H sound by just simply breathing out with no voicing. And then I'm turning on the voicing for the a vowel sound. Have, have, have. Does that make sense? That's a great analogy from Giovanni. Thanks, Giovanni, for suggesting that, because that's a really useful piece of advice. And whoever taught that to you knew what they were talking about, because that is good advice, okay? So, let's have a look. There's quite a few comments that have come in, so I might have missed quite a few of them. Apologies if I have done. So Haida has asked how to pronounce the difference between the two vowel sounds, book and box. All right, book and box. Now, if anyone else wants more clarification on these two sounds, I have a tutorial that explains both of these sounds very clearly and very comprehensively in English, because they are easy sounds to confuse. So I recommend watching the tutorial. It's on both YouTube and Facebook. So I recommend watching the tutorial for more advice on that. but I'll just say them both sounds to you now, just to be very clear about how both sounds are. Okay, so box, books, box, books. The sound that we have been looking at today is the short as in book. This isn't a book, but it's like a book, book. And then box, box, box. The main difference between these two sounds is that for there's just enough space for one finger in between my teeth. Book, book, book. Whereas for box, it will be it'll be almost enough space for two fingers, 1.5 to 2 fingers, depending on how much you stress the sound. Box, 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 box. Okay? The real differences here that I want you to be aware of are simply the sound, the height of the vowel sound within the mouth. Is 1.5 fingers, or sorry, 1 finger, and o is 1.5 to 2 fingers. Okay? Book, box, book, box. Okay? Right, Heidi says, yes, that was helpful, fantastic. Yanela says, thank you, coach, that was really helpful. Lots more comments coming in now. But yeah, it's all clear, fantastic. So another comment that came in from, just bear with me here, from Alex, was, is there any way to identify when to use or oo just by looking at the word? Yes and no. So in English, you will never get a word that ends in an sound. Okay, you'll never get a word that ends in an sound. The only way that you can have a word that ends in an sound is if there is another consonant after it. So basically, words have to have a consonant after them. You can't finish a word in the sound in English, okay? It goes against the pronunciation rules of the language. So if you see, for example, a word that you know is either or oo, and there's no consonant after it, then it'll be an oo, okay? That's the first one. The second one thing I'll say, I don't think actually applies specifically to these two sounds at all. But a common rule that I was going to say was, and I've talked about this a lot recently, is when the R letter is spelt in English, in words, if it's spelt after a vowel sound, it'll usually be either a long vowel sound or a diphthong, instead of a short vowel sound and then the R sound being pronounced. Okay, so very rarely, well, you don't really get the reason why I'm hesitating here is because the oo sound is very, very rarely ever in place of an R spelling. Okay, but the best piece of advice I could give is what I've already said to you now, Alex, and to everyone who's watching, which is for you cannot get words that end in that have to have a syllable or at least a letter after them. For example, if I said the word loo, which is an informal word for the toilet in English, loo, I know that that's not a short vowel sound because there can't be a word that's l. All right? A final example, just to make this point, would be who. Okay, I know it's a long English vowel sound because words can't end in short vowel sounds. So it can't be all right? And what I've just said there, words can't end in short vowel sounds. There is an exception to this, which is weak vowel sounds, like the schwa or the weak I vowel sound. But these are different kinds of vowel sounds because they're weak. Okay, and I've taught some of these already on YouTube and on Facebook. And I'm going to be teaching them in more detail in the very near future. Okay, so that's that. What are some other questions? I've got time for another question. So let me know if you have any questions that you'd like me to answer. At 2 o'clock today, I'm doing a live group coaching session for my coaching students. If any of you want to join my coaching program and actually get my personal feedback on your pronunciation, then there's a website, I'll get it up in a second, it's called howtospeakenglishclearly.com. And if you join my coaching program, you get my personal feedback on your pronunciation, plus weekly group coaching sessions, plus access to a comprehensive online training program. Okay, so if you really want to take your pronunciation further and want my personal help, that's the place to go to. Okay, in fact, if you're interested, I'll just get up a link to that now to show you whilst I answer some more questions. So Sarah says, you know, I study English speciality in college, and I help with the phonetics module. Fantastic. Yeah, Sarah, I'm really pleased to hear that. I mean, the whole reason why I teach this is because I'm on a mission to make confident English pronunciation easy for every non-native speaker in English. Okay, and that's why I'm doing this. I'm fighting for your confidence in English. All right. The website, if you want to join my coaching program, is here. You might be seeing this backwards on Facebook. It's called howtospeakenglishclearly.com. I'll hold it up here whilst I look at some other questions. But if you want my personal help on your pronunciation, just go here, sign up. Manu joined yesterday, and I've already been able to help her yesterday evening. And she's going to be in my group coaching session in just a moment. So if you join, you can get my feedback really, really quickly and get started. Okay. So let's have a look. So Alex, I hope that answered the question for you. Asley says, can you say any two words, first word ending with a TH sound, and and the second one starting with an S, and vice versa? Yeah, okay. So for example, if I said, I'm going to say the word, I'm going to say the soft TH sound. So I'm going to say the word bath, and then I'll say sits. The bath sits on the floor. Okay, the bath sits on the floor. All right. This is a difficult tongue position. The bath sits on the floor. The bath sits on the floor. I think the point that you were going to get at here by asking this question is, does your tongue always come out in between your teeth if the next sound is an S? The bath sits on the floor. Tina's just written this website in the comments. Thank you very much, Tina. Much appreciated. I'll hold it up here just for a moment more if anyone wants it from Facebook. So this is an advanced tip, but it's useful for everyone to be aware of. There's a thing called elision and assimilation in English. And what assimilation means is when two consonants come together at the end of one word and at the beginning of the next word, they can have an effect on each other to make English easier to speak. So what sometimes happens is, if I said the bath sits on the floor, if I say it slowly, my tongue is going to come all the way out for a nice f sound. And then the next sound will be an S. The bath sits on the floor. However, if I'm speaking quickly, then what I might do is my tongue might not come all the way out in between my teeth for the TH sound. Instead, what it might do is try to make a TH sound whilst the tongue is behind my teeth. So what you'll get is a sound that basically is the TH sound, but it's just being made in a slightly different way. And I don't recommend that you do this intentionally until you're confident with both TH sounds at the end of words. Because the problem is, if you do this now and you start doing this all the time, it can come across as lazy when you're speaking in situations where you wouldn't do this. And it's an interesting question again, because I've just filmed a new video yesterday. It's taken me ages to do, and I'm publishing it on YouTube on Tuesday. And when I was going through and actually editing the video, I was looking at my mouth as I was making sounds, and I said the TH sound in very quick speech, but my tongue still came out in between my teeth. Even though it was only for a split second, my tongue still came out. All right, so it's very, very important before you try and do any advanced things like assimilation that you get comfortable putting your tongue out in between your teeth for both the sounds, as in bath, or the sound, as in with, okay? Make sure you can get your tongue out in between your teeth. The final thing I'll say on assimilation very quickly is you don't need assimilation to speak English with a British accent, or if that's not a goal of yours, which it doesn't need to be at all, or just to actually speak clear and confident and natural English, okay? Assimilation is something that you can do if you want, but it's not something that you need to do. And generally, in my experience, teaching pronunciation to a lot of different people at all different levels, there's normally always more important things that you can work on than assimilation, okay? Whether it's to do with the rhythm of your English or certain sounds or other things, there's more important things. Okay, right, I think we're back up and running. So I was going to say one other final thing that I thought would be useful. No, I've forgotten what I was going to say. But intonation, assimilation. Okay, that's all you need to know. It's useful, but it's not essential. Okay, so I'm going to pause the live training there because I've got a live group coaching session with my course students in just a few minutes' time. Thank you everyone for joining me today. I'm posting another video on Facebook tomorrow. I'm doing a 30-day British accent challenge on Facebook. So if you're not already joining me on Facebook, then I recommend it. My Facebook page is The English Pronunciation Coach. Check it out there, and you can be part of my 30-day British accent challenge. It's completely free. There's no cost, and I'm doing live trainings every day there for the time being. But second of all, on Tuesday, I have got a really, really exciting pronunciation tutorial coming out where I have analysed someone very famous. I have analysed their pronunciation, and I'm showing you all the little things that they're doing. Because obviously they're a non-native speaker, so I'm just showing you how their pronunciation is different in English to how a native English speaker's pronunciation is, so that you can just see some common things that are difficult for non-native speakers in English. And I can't wait for you to see it. You're going to love it. Okay, so there have been tons of comments today. Thank you so much everyone who's joined and watched. I apologise that I've not said hi to everyone individually who's joined. Normally I do my best to do this, but today has been a bit difficult because there has been a lot of people watching on both Facebook and YouTube. But I will see you tomorrow on Facebook at 1 o'clock for day 11 of our 30-day British accent challenge. If you're watching this on YouTube, head over to Facebook and I'd love to see you there. But more importantly, if you're watching this on Facebook, then head over to my YouTube channel, English School Online, because I've got over 100 videos that can help you here with your English pronunciation for free. And then if you want my personal help and support on your pronunciation, then go to here, howtospeakenglishclearly.com. You'll absolutely love it. It'll be the best investment you ever make. It's everything that I can possibly do to help you with your pronunciation. And I'd love to give you my personal feedback and support on your pronunciation. So if you can, check this out. Giovanni, very happy birthday again. Have a great rest of day. And thanks everyone for being here. Great to be helping you with pronunciation. And you know that I'm here fighting for your confidence in English. It's my mission to make clear and confident English pronunciation accessible to everyone in the world. So I'll see you back here very, very soon for another English pronunciation tutorial. Have a great Friday afternoon or morning, wherever you're watching from. and I'll see you tomorrow for another tutorial. Take care. Okay, if you're still watching on Facebook, hi. Or YouTube, I'm just ending the tutorial now.